This ain't no fucking game. You think I'm playing? I'm Robert People, and I'm running for Congress for Florida's District 15. And if you're a fan of DMX, then you're familiar with that line. Before I talk about Venezuela, I'm going to talk real quick about why I'm running. First off, I'm a 21-year retired Army veteran, and a big part of the reason I am running is because I learned from a command sergeant major during my time in that rather than to complain about something, I need to be part of stepping up, being part of the solution, and not continuing to be part of the problem. Also, I have a passion to continue public service. As I grew up in Baltimore's inner city, one thing that I learned a lot of is, of course, being black, racism, poverty, and so on. And of course, as a kid, I'm only focusing on that because that's largely a lot of what I'm seeing. However, after I joined the Army and began moving around, of course, and being part of various communities, that tunnel vision opened up and I got to see what other issues existed with the other communities out there. And at that point, it became about more than just how I grew up and all the issues that I faced. That's what led to me wanting to be a voice for not just one community, but the many communities that exist in our country right now. My desire to run probably started even earlier than my time in the Army. When my family and I would visit Baltimore, one thing I would tell my wife at the time, as I saw parts of the city that had not changed since I grew up, one thing I would often say, jokingly, is, man, if I was mayor, I would change all this, I would fix all these things. And of course, she didn't think anything of it, and I didn't really think much of it at the time either, understanding what was, basically what I was saying. There's certain areas that were basically piles of rubble, certain, stores, the corner stores boarded up, looked exactly the same as they were. We're talking 20, in some cases 30 years prior. And it just bothered me to see that. And with each subsequent visit, it stayed the same. Nothing changed. So I think over time, it became more of something that got in here to where I said, you know what? Maybe I need to see about really doing something. Because after a while, I got tired of talking about it so much. Now, that brings me to Venezuela and why I started this the way I did. We all know that by now, we attacked Venezuela overnight. The president and his wife have been captured and they're on their way to New York right now. Now, you may wonder, what does that have to do with me running for office? Well, I'm going to tell you. We are here in this situation right now because a lot of people, way too many, see this as nothing but a game. Now, we can blame this on Trump, the administration, the Republican lawmakers, their supporters, and there'd be plenty of blame to go around. They're definitely a problem, but in many ways, I don't feel like they're the problem. Because I look at also how we, as a party, as a Democratic Party, come at this. I say again, a number of the folks within our own party, elsewhere as well, but within our own party especially, see what's happening as nothing more than a game. Now, my evidence for that is simple. When I started campaigning a year ago, I've had many, many conversations with people, and there's one part that has always bothered me. Of course, we have the conversations with people who want me, to be part of what helps fix things, what helps get them what they need, what helps take care of people, all, so forth, the things that we could expect. But one part that has bothered me the most is the alarming number of people who only asked me, how much money do you have? How popular are you? Do people know you? That's it. Never once did they ask, do you care about people? Are you going to fight for the American people? Are you going to fight for the district? Do you give a damn about what's going on in the country? No. How much money you got? How popular are you? That's the only thing. We would sit there for minutes, 10, 15 minutes sometimes, and that's the only thing we would talk about. Any care about anybody other than just how much money I have? Nothing ever comes up besides just what I got. This is a game that many people feel, we don't get him this time, we'll get him next time, right? Just put the pieces back in the box, close the box up, and we'll come back to it next time. And that might be okay if we didn't see what the hell was going on in this country right now. See, it's one thing if we hear all this and that, if we get hearsay, if it's rumor, if we read about it and all this and that, but damn near everybody is able to see what the hell is happening themselves. Not just through the media, not just through videos and so forth. A lot of us can step outside of our damn doors right now and can see this shit going on right in our own neighborhoods. Every other person I come in contact with can tell me of specific instances where they have seen the stuff that we're seeing. Neighbors being taken, American citizens being kidnapped off the street, which, by the way, there are thousands still missing from this immigration detention center at the Everglades. They closed that spot down and they just disappeared. We just disappeared all those individuals. Most American citizens who have no kind of criminal record at all. Those people don't get a next time. George Floyd doesn't get a next time. Breonna Taylor doesn't get a next time. Tamir Rice doesn't get a next time. All the American citizen immigrants that our government is fucking with right now, they don't get a next time. Women losing their reproductive rights. The young lady, I believe, who died in Georgia, she didn't get a next time. All the Epstein victims, none of them get a next time. Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, they don't get a next time. The people who may die, who will die as a result of their health care premiums, insurance premiums going up, along with Medicare being taken, SNAP benefits being taken, they don't get a next time. So you have to excuse me if I don't jump for joy or gleefully pull out a calculator so we can crunch the numbers of how much of how much money I have, so we can talk about how we can win this thing based off of that alone. See, during my time in the Army up to today, I feel everything that I see. And folks will often tell me, don't get too emotional about this stuff. Don't show that you're too angry about this. And my response to you is, what is the appropriate response to what we see going on right now? You seriously think the first thing on my mind when something happens is, oh, I'm running for Congress, so I got to pretty it up, I got to look the part, dress the part, and all this the part. You think that's the first thing I think about? When you give a damn about people and this government fucking up yet again, that's the last thing that comes to mind. Now, again, this administration has decided to issue unlawful orders for us to go attack Venezuela. Not only that, but kidnap people and bring them to our country for them to stand trial. And we're not going to play stupid and act like we don't get this. We see exactly what is happening. There are no rules. Congress is silent right now. This is not anything to discuss. This is unlawful what they did. Any act of war needs to be cleared through Congress. Don't waste time with trolls. Don't waste time with bots. Don't waste time with MAGA. Don't waste time with these ignorant ass sorry excuses for Republican lawmakers and any excuses they want to give. Any act of war goes through Congress. End of story. And right on time for the continuation of the release of these Epstein files, right? Every service member out there, I want you to hear me, and I want you to hear me closely. Per Article 92 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, you are not to follow unlawful orders. That is not a request nor a suggestion. Everybody who is part of this deserves to be punished. And I'm talking everyone. We don't need to keep discussing what they're doing or what we think their plans are. They're making it clear for us. They're laying the blueprint out for us every day. And every time something like this happens, they're just reminding us of what we already know. Congress, you all need to get your shit together because the money ain't going to save you. See, you have a responsibility or you will suffer the consequences as well. And if you all don't want to impeach Donald Trump because you're scared of the Republicans, then don't. But when I am in office, I will do everything in my power to make sure this administration and everyone who is part of it suffer the deserved consequences of all their actions. Take that however you want. I'm done.